Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. We're passionate about helping people with business and accounting. In today's video, we are going to talk about the Paycheck Protection Program. Specifically, if you have not received the first round of PPP, this video is for you. So if you're interested, keep on watching. So before we jump into this video, I just want to cover what the Paycheck Protection Program is. So if this is your first time getting this loan, I want you to kind of know a little bit of the history behind it. So the Paycheck Protection Program was rolled out around March timeframe of last year, so 2020, and the program had a lot of flaws that they have since ironed out, and now the program is pretty much straightforward. And in this video, we're going to be talking a lot about what the requirements are and what you can expect through this program. So the program is a Paycheck Protection Program. It was created to aid employers to retain employees during the COVID pandemic. So let's see what they're saying. So SBA on Wednesday released 2 interim final rules. The first one is an 82-page document that consolidates the rules for PPP forgivable loans for first-time borrowers and outlines changes made by the Economic Aid Act. And then the second one is a 42-page document for second draw loans. So if you are applying for a second draw of PPP, this video is not for you. Go check out this video where I cover the requirements and everything you need to know about the second draw. This is your first time getting PPP. Let's continue on. So in addition, the SBA released a 3-page guidance on assessing capital for minority, underserved, veteran, and women-owned businesses. So if this is your first draw of PPP loans, the Economic Aid makes first-time PPP loans available to borrowers that were in operation on February 15th, 2020, and come from one of the following groups: businesses with 500 or fewer employees, sole proprietors, independent contractors, and eligible self-employed individuals, not-for-profits, including churches, accommodation and food and service operations, 501c6, so basically leagues, chambers, chamber of commerce, bureaus, destination marketing organizations, and news organizations that are majority owned or controlled by NAICS. So now let's talk about who is not eligible for PPP. So publicly traded companies and businesses controlled by, directly or indirectly, the president, vice president, head of executive departments, and members of Congress or their spouses as defined by applicable common law. PPP applicants must submit sufficient documentation to establish eligibility and demonstrate their qualifying payroll amounts. This may include payroll records, payroll tax filings, Form 1099 miscellaneous, Form 1040, so Schedule C, Schedule F, income and expense from a sole proprietor, or bank records. So in general, first-time PPP borrowers may receive a loan amount of up to 2.5 times their average monthly payroll. This is not counting employees who make more than $100,000 annualized in the year prior to the loan or the calendar year. So basically they put a caps on anyone who makes over $100,000. PPP borrowers with NAICS code starting with 72, so hotels and restaurants, can receive 3.5 times their average monthly payroll costs. The maximum for the first draw of PPP loan is $10 million, the same as the original PPP. Applicants must provide Form 941, so your employer quarterly federal tax return, and state quarterly wage unemployment insurance tax reporting forms for each quarter in 2019 or 2020, whichever is used to calculate the loan amount. So unlike the first time we did PPP, this time around, you get to choose, are you going to base your numbers off of 2019 or 2020? Or equivalent payroll processing records, along with evidence of any retirement and health insurance contributions. So unlike the first round of PPP, this time around, we have to show a reduction of at least 25% in gross receipts. This is calculated by comparing gross receipts in any 2020 quarter with an applicable quarter in 2019, or in a provision added by the ruling, a borrower that was in operation for all 4 quarters of 2020 can submit copies of its annual tax forms that shows a reduction in annual receipts of 25% or greater in 2020 compared with 2019. So to be eligible for the PPP loan, you have to show a reduction in gross receipts. So the Economic Aid Act did not provide a definition of gross receipts. So they're referencing another ruling to define it. So the ruling defines gross receipts to include all revenue in whatever form received or accrued from whatever source, including the sale of products or services, interest, dividend, rents, royalties, fees, or commissions, reduced by returns and allowance. If you're getting value out of this video, please consider subscribing to our channel and giving this video a like. So now that we know what gross receipts are, let's talk about the eligible costs. So the borrower can have their first and second draw forgiven if the funds are used on eligible costs. So as with the first round of PPP, the eligible costs include the rent, payroll, mortgage interest, and utilities. But they've added covered worker protection and facility modification expenditures, including personal protective equipment to comply with COVID federal health and safety regulations. So if your business had to put up plexiglass, if you had to purchase masks for your team, hand sanitizer, cleaning supplies, all of that would be eligible costs for PPP funds. Expenditures to suppliers that are essential at the time of purchase to recipient's operation, and covered operating expenditures, which refer to payments of any business, software, or cloud computing services that facilitate business operations, products, or service delivery, the processing, payment, or tracking of payroll expenses, human resources, sales and billing functions, or accounting or tracking of supplies, inventory, records, and expenses. So basically, anything related to your operation that is essential or an operating expense to your business. So for a lot of our new clients that got accounting consultations and we went through their books and we talked about PPP, all of those costs are now eligible under the PPP funds. To be eligible for full loan forgiveness, PPP borrowers will have to spend no less than 60% of the funds on payroll over a covered period between 8 or 24 weeks. So very similar to the first PPP loan, the first round of PPP loan. Now they're saying there's a simplified forgiveness process. So borrowers that receive a PPP loan of $150,000 or less shall receive forgiveness if the borrower signs and submits to the lender a certification that is no more than 1 page long. So you need to include the description of the number of employees that you had because of the loan. So description of number of employees the borrower was able to retain because of the loan, the estimated total amount of the loan spent on payroll costs, and the total loan amount. The SBA has yet to create a simplified application form, but must do so by January 20th. The form may not require additional materials unless necessary to substantiate revenue loss reduction or satisfy relevant statutory or regulatory requirements. Borrowers are required to retain the records related to employment for 4 years and other records for 3 years, as the SBA may review and audit these loans for fraud. So if you guys have been following the PPP saga for a while, this comes as a sigh of relief. One, we know that there's more funding becoming available, and even if you got the first round of PPP, you can get the second round. And two, there's more clear guidelines regarding the program. But as always, guys, if you guys need help with PPP tracking, you need someone to take a look at your books, to take a look at how everything was recorded and make sure it was recorded correctly, schedule a consultation with us today. We want to book your appointment and get through your books so you're ready for the second round of PPP. I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, please consider subscribing to the channel, give this video a like, share it with a friend, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.